Well, howdy ho. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Exiles TV.
Wasn't that awesome?
Soon to move to a better dial position, by the way.
Yeah, what is that? Is that coming up in a few, like 14 days? Coming up on the 15th, we're moving up the cable dial to
20.
Channel 20.
20.
We were 13, now we're 7 higher.
Right in the midst of all of them. We're on Channel 20 when we get back to
7 higher than 13.
Well, not only that, but see, 20 on cable, it's not 13 on cable, it's 113 on cable.
Uh-huh.
So, like, your thumb strength is going to go to hell.
There you go.
You won't be able to thumb your way up to 113 anymore.
But watch for that move, and just note that you'll have to tune to a different channel after, I think, July 15th for catching programming here on Pelican Broadcasting.
And wait, there's more. No additional charge, just for you, for the better dial position and the increased clarity and the wonderful stereo sound of Kevin Gallagher.
And we never need sharpening. That's the beauty of Exiles TV. We slice, we dice, we can cut right through a soda can.
Never need sharpening. Everything is just okie-dokie.
Let's get right down to some business here.
By the way, we won't be here to wish you happy 4th of July, so several times today, I'm going to wish you happy 4th of July holiday.
All right, you want to do one now?
No.
No, okay. Well, then, all right, then.
You got to build up to this.
Got this email from State Treasurer John Schroeder, who's a friend of the program, sponsor of the program, as a matter of fact. Don't forget the unclaimed furniture. That's an old client.
It was just a matter of time before one of us did it.
How many commercials do you think I've done for unclaimed furniture?
Too many.
Unclaimed property division. Don't forget that. But that's not the business. The business is Main Street starting to take grant applications. Coming up later in the month of July, small businesses can start applying by July 28th for grants to help cover COVID-19 related expenses. That's according to Mr. Schroeder. He announced at a press conference yesterday. Through the Main Street Recovery Program, businesses can apply for up to $15,000 to cover eligible expenses. And they expect up to $40 million. Anyway, we got a guest going to be talking about that later in the program. So.
Yes, indeed. It's a very nice thing. Treasurer Schroeder, I'll tell you what, has impressed me with his willingness to stand up at the podium and say, it's your money, we're putting it to work for you, here's how. He has impressed me with that.
Well, he also was very willing to lock horns with the governor of the state over that money when the governor sought to sweep that fund in order to help balance the budget. He didn't necessarily win that fight, but he took the people's fight to the governor's office nevertheless. So that says something about just, willing to take on the system if he thinks it's the right thing to do.
So here's an interesting story. The Mississippi state flag was retired after 126 years, was taken down from the state capitol for the last time at sunset yesterday. Now, I have heard that they're going to replace that little square that had the Confederate
battle flag,
with a never-ending stream of Mississippi nicknames. Like, for 1 month, it'll be Bubba and them. Next one would be Goober. And then when they run out of all the names, you know what they're going to have? An alien spacecraft. Because, they all come to Biloxi Beach.
Well, Pascagoula, their aliens are fine to picking up rednecks in Pascagoula.
And no word yet on whether or not someone on the flag will be depicted as being probed, but we can always hope.
Can I give a serious recommendation for the Mississippi state flag?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the name? Well, I like Bubba. Just Bubba. No, well, seriously though, it's the magnolia state, and the magnolia is a beautiful flower.
It is
a tree flower, and I think a simple field of deep blue with a magnolia.
Well, their welcome signs have that
exactly
kind of
what I'm
interstate
thinking.
blue.
Exactly.
Kind of like the blue in our backdrop. Perhaps a shade or two darker, and they've got the beautiful magnolia. That's not a bad idea. Now, there are going to be more things, though. They're going to have to change things like the state motto and things like that. I think.
What is the Mississippi State
Well,
motto?
I think
We're better than Louisiana.
no, we used to be better than Louisiana. I think the new state motto should be, "Hey y'all, watch this." That fits, right?
Yes.
A state song.
Hold my beer, says Marty. Marty, the floor director.
Hold my beer.
Frankly, I am amazed that the Confederate battle flag has lived as long as it has in Mississippi. This went was it 4 years ago or so? It went to a vote of the people.
Yeah.
A popular vote said leave the flag alone. But this time around, it was done by legislative fiat signed by the governor, and down it comes.
Yeah,
I'm now looking at monitoring Fox News here while we're doing the show. Richmond is taking down a statue of Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah, that was by order of Richmond's mayor, apparently. And then you got Columbus taking. Is they take Columbus, Ohio?
It looks like Columbus coming down.
Are they
in Ohio.
taking down Christopher Columbus?
Yeah, they want to take down the Christopher Columbus statue in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
It's a fairly ugly statue.
Well, I don't think,
out of proportion.
Well, it's like the controversial statue in Port Allen, across the river from Baton Rouge. The founder, the man for whom Port Allen is named, it's not a lovely statue, but it was a statue done by a Louisiana sculptor, and so it's got its own. The statue itself has its own history. Forget the man. So there is resistance to efforts to
yes,
make it go away.
Well, I think that we should do a public service to our neighbors. I think we should take some time, you and I, maybe Marty can get involved, do a little research, and then drive up to Jackson one off day next week and present them with a new state motto, a new state song, a new state mammal,
And they'll say, "Who are you guys?"
Don't you know us?
Exiles, man.
But see, now Marty's got me conflicted because, hey, hold my beer is probably better than, hey, y'all watch this.
Hold my beer should at least be on license plates. At the very least.
We can spell Mississippi, can't we?
We're going to take our first break of the hour. Hope you'll be back on the other side with us. This is Exiles TV.
Hold my beer. Is this Ray?
You want to bring Ray up?
No, sir.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Welcome back to Exiles TV on this Tuesday. We are getting ready for the 4th of July, aren't we?
Yeah, just texting. So
This is not Tuesday, it's Thursday.
what
I'm a day
are
behind.
you
Wearing. You got to stop doing that while we're live.
I'm answering a text from a business associate.
Well, look, don't let our TV show interfere with your personal
I'm
life.
sorry, man. Normally, you don't have any trouble just continuing to talk.
Normally.
So
In other news of money available in Louisiana, Senator Kennedy has announced $11 million for Louisiana Department of Hospitals. This is to prepare for future public health emergencies. As he put it, this is kind of unprecedented, but $9 million of the $11 million
yeah,
will go to the Public Health Emergency Preparedness and Response Program, and $1.9 million will go for a hospital preparedness program. I would assume that will be divided up again to all the hospitals that take Medicaid patients.
can I get a little bit serious for a second here?
Sure.
Because I'm about to do an on-air 180. Okay. As you brought up the public hospital situation, it's become pretty obvious to me that COVID is a worse problem than a lot of us thought. Although I do still believe that the death numbers and things like that, the severity that we're being sold by the media, is exaggerated.
Well, I'd like to see an audit of all the true death numbers myself.
Yeah, I think those numbers have been exaggerated, but not flat out lied about. And there could be no doubt that it's a serious disease and that people are dying. I didn't like hearing that the mayor-president of East Baton Rouge Parish had issued a mandatory mask order, and there's going to be fines, misdemeanor summons issued for failure to comply. I don't like that, but what I want to go on the record is saying, I've always been a law and order kind of guy. And if I get on this show and I say, you can't riot in our streets and tear down statues because that's against the law, I'm sorry, but emergency powers does give the mayor-president the right to mandate that I wear a mask in public. So guess what? I think I once looked in the camera and said I ain't wearing no mask, but I don't want to be a not law and order kind of guy.
I applaud your enlightened thinking. And let me add something to that, if you don't mind. This takes effect at noon tomorrow.
Right.
And there are, of course, exceptions for if you're outside and you're not in close proximity to people. So if you're cutting the lawn, you don't have to wear a mask and get your face hot under that mask.
Well, it's just you. Who are you going to infect?
Well, yeah, but I mean, she was very careful to put all these things in.
Yeah, she's trying to be fair, I think.
Now, what will happen in terms of enforcement? There are two people that will do spot checks, and BRFD and BRPD. And they will also be, when they're out and about doing their normal things, firemen always shop because they cook for themselves at shopping centers. And
Right.
As they're out and about, they'll look in on people. First time, if they see what is a clear violation, they will, as a courtesy, remind you, hey, can you put a mask on because you're in violation. Second time, they will issue you a warning, which doesn't penalize you in any monetary way. And then the third time, you will get that misdemeanor summons that has a fine, and it's an up to $500. It can be determined. Now, I think if you've been told twice by somebody who knows what they're looking for, that's now you're just being obstinate. Okay?
What's the joke about? What do you tell a fellow with two black eyes? Somebody done already told him.
Somebody
twice.
already told him twice. But now, what's interesting about mask wearing, I have been doing some research on my own. And I actually bought an N95 mask for Karen because there was a possibility that she was going to have to travel
Right.
on an airliner in the near future.
Okay.
And those do protect you. The N95 will protect you from the COVID virus. But remember how everybody was saying, just get a bandana, that'll work? So I believe it was Virginia Tech. Their medical school and their virologists and their physics department got together. And they have a blacked out room
Saw that video.
and they have a sneeze mannequin.
They had a mannequin rigged to sneeze and cough.
Yeah, and you see a laser light bandana. My God, you might as well just go up to somebody and give them CPR if you think your bandana is protecting them from your droplets. 8 feet with a bandana.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you start to get to surgical masks like
these?
this.
Plain paper surgical mask.
It drops it down to about 2.5 feet. And I mean, the video is beautiful. You can actually see it. They have a scale on the wall. And if you go with one of those cone-shaped masks, takes it down to about a foot. And if you take it down to a cloth mask, and you've got one of those, and I've got one of those in my car.
Yeah, we got a mask that somebody just made.
8 inches.
8 inches. But the argument I'm getting from people, friends, people I love and respect, by the way, two of our attorney acquaintances I've gone back and forth with, Richard Sprinkle and Brian Johnson, and I respect them both immensely. And they said, but even 8 inches is going to help. It's better than no protection whatsoever.
Oh, and that's right. But
and
again,
the appeal that they make to me is, look, I know that you don't think that this is going to help you, but it's going to, at the very least, make someone very, very nervous about this thing feel better that you're wearing it.
well, yeah, I mean, it is, and again, bottom line on this, Bill Cassidy, who is a physician, and he's a very caring guy.
And I saw him wearing a mask
Yeah.
last time I saw him on the news.
He said this 3 weeks ago. He said, look, unless you're wearing an N95, it's not going to protect you. But what you are doing is showing courtesy to the people around you.
Right.
Because it will stop some or most of your droplets, which will make their risk of infection.
And that is why I will have a mask on me and be prepared to put it on.
I don't want to get all sciencey with people here, but there's a thing called the viral load. You've heard that term, right?
Yes.
All right, so if you look at the way a virus works, it's quantity over quality, all right? And the viral load is directly related to what you are expelling in liquid form. So if I give you a really good hearty sneeze and I am close enough to where you feel wet, I'm giving you a viral load. If I cough a little bit and you don't feel anything, there may be a couple particles that got to you, but your viral load is so small that the chances are it's not going to hurt you. So you have to worry about quantity, and that's what the mask does.
By the way, once and for all, is it white side out or blue side out?
Blue side out.
Okay, blue side out.
Blue side out.
It really
Doctor.
makes my
Blue
eyes pop,
and
don't you
other
think?
side at top with the bendy thing.
Yeah. No, well, this is the
Oh, okay.
this is the bendy thing.
The other
It
thing-
makes my eyes pop, don't you think?
When people warn you about masks, here's what they're warning you about. Do not be constantly fiddling with it. You blow the whole joke for you if you're constantly adjusting your mask because you're touching your face.
How's this? Does this work?
That doesn't
Bill?
work. That doesn't work.
No?
That doesn't work.
But all the state lawmakers do it this way.
Well.
Half of Congress does it this way.
Well, but we know what we think of their body
Chuck
parts.
friggin' Schumer does it this way.
We know what we think of their body parts, right? South end of a northbound mule?
All right. Coming up, we're going to take a little break. And on the way, we're going to talk about the Louisiana Main Street Project. Our guest is Ray, and he's Ray Scribner. He's joining us in just minutes.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Some big changes are coming to the Pelican and Cox Cable. July 15th, our numbers are changing. We're easier to find and we're in high def. New Orleans, Gramercy, Lutcher, Acadiana, Patterson, Baton Rouge, new numbers coming, and a brand new signal. It all happens July 15th on Cox Cable. Do your buddy Clarence a favor, will you? Get all the details by checking your local guide.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back. It's Exiles TV. We're so glad to have you with us.
Marty's over there practicing his numbers. 2, 1. No, wait. 2, 1. We can put that in the Mississippi file, Marty. We can
Don't
find
pick
something
on
to do
Marty.
with that.
Marty controls the camera that. Remember that Marty controls the camera that pulls your close-up.
Well, that's true. He does. He does. We could be looking at nose hair in a matter of moments.
Everyone, say hello to Ray Scribner. He is our guest this hour, and we're going to talk about the Louisiana Main Street project. Ray, thanks for being with us. What's your official title?
I'm the director for Louisiana Main Street.
So you're the main man.
I pretty much am. Yes.
Now, I had mentioned earlier that the treasurer has announced a grant program, but that's not exactly part of what you're all about.
That's right. It shares the name of Main Street, but the new grant program, which is a great benefit to small businesses. We work with a lot with small businesses, and this grant program is geared for small businesses, so it'll be a great benefit to them across the state, but it is administered through the treasurer's office. It's called the Main Street Recovery Program. It's not a part of our state Main Street network
Tell
program.
us about you and your mission.
Okay, great. I head up a network of 35 communities across the state of Louisiana that all are working to help revitalize their historic downtown areas and their historic neighborhood commercial districts. Primarily, we work with small towns. 31 of our 35 communities are small towns, population 50,000 and less. We do work with 4 neighborhood commercial districts in the city of New Orleans. But Main Street is an economic development program with its foundation in historic preservation.
Mm-hmm.
We're housed in the Historic Preservation Agency for the state of Louisiana.
I can think of so many examples of towns that I drive through and visit, while traveling across Louisiana. And they at once had a wonderful little Main Street area.
Right.
And it's falling into, emptiness and disarray and the broken window principle and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a long time coming here.
It is, and the Main Street approach is a national program from the National Trust. It's a subsidiary of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. So there's more than 2,000 Main Street communities across the country. Main Street operates on a 4-point approach. We look at design, organization, promotion, and economic vitality. Main Street is very much volunteer-driven program. It's a ground-up driven program. Every community in the state and country that has a Main Street program, though, does have a paid professional Main Street director in their community that kind of functions in the same ways that a mall manager might oversee and manage a mall. The Main Street director manages the downtown and does a lot of programming and brings things and events to their downtown to help support the businesses in their downtown.
Well, I'm thinking we are very, very blessed that we have an awful lot of cable coverage with this program.
Okay.
So I am thinking of just the towns I can think of that have wonderful old Main Street areas like Opelousas.
Right, yes.
And Breaux Bridge.
Yes.
And Lafayette, of course.
Faraday.
Faraday.
Yeah.
And as you go into the river parishes, all of them, all these beautiful old downtown main streets, and of course the Florida parishes, places like Hammond and Ponchatoula and Amite, everything on Highway 51 had an almost identical but quaint Main Street.
Right.
So what do you bring to the party? Do you supply expertise and funding, or?
Both, yes, actually. Primarily we provide technical assistance and training because Main Street is an approach to downtown revitalization. So we teach that approach to our local Main Street directors and the volunteers. We do have some grant funding to help building owners restore their historic buildings and bring them back to an appropriate historic look. We have a long-running state program, but this year for 2 years we were fortunate to receive a $660,000 grant from the National Park Service to use in providing sub-grants to building owners in our Main Street districts to help restore their buildings. So,
Ray, when some of these towns are desolate in their old downtown area, are most of the buildings still under ownership? They just don't have a tenant of any kind?
Yeah, most of them are owned. A lot of times we find that the owners have moved out of state or out of the town and don't have the same interest that the previous family maybe had in helping that town stay vibrant, and so they just let their building run down for whatever.
So how do you go about getting people into these buildings?
There are
businesses.
Well, there are incentives to to restore the buildings through the grants that we talked about. There are historic tax credits also available to building owners that they can use to restore their credits. We've hired an economic development coordinator just this year to help really develop some programs. We're working on the possibility of having a low interest revolving loan for building owners and business owners to help them locate in downtowns and Main Street districts across the state. So we've got a lot of things that we're really working on that have come to fruition as a result of being able to hire an economic development coordinator to help with all of this.
I can think of a couple downtowns in small cities that are probably a good, shining example of a success story.
Right.
Tell me what you're seeing from the inside. I don't know this for sure, but I always thought Hammond, Louisiana had a beautiful downtown.
Right.
Are they one of your success stories?
They are definitely one of our success stories. In fact, we have a tri-state conference, Main Street Conference with Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi that rotates between the three states. And this past September, we hosted it in Hammond. One reason we wanted them to be able to show all the success that they had to the other states and to the other communities in our state, and it was a great conference, and they were able to do so much with that conference and show off the success and the businesses that they have. So Hammond is one. They were a top 10 semifinalist for the Great American Main Street Award, which is a national award 2 years ago. In Louisiana, we have 3 Great American Main Street Award winning communities. Natchitoches is one.
I can see that.
Yeah. New Iberia is another.
Yes.
And then Oretha Castle Haley Boulevard in New Orleans was our most recent recipient of that award, and that is a national award. When Hammond is able to apply again, they will, I think, certainly be recognized as a Great American Main Street.
There are some cities that have done a wonderful job of reclaiming at least part of their downtown area.
Right.
Opelousas is doing wonderful things to revitalize the old town in Opelousas.
They are.
Eunice, of all places, has some. I don't mean that the way it came out.
Well, no, Eunice was
has
economically depressed for a long time.
Eunice was really down and out in some people's eyes, and Eunice they have a wonderful downtown area.
Right. I think Main Street can be a building block, a strong foundation for overall community revitalization because it helps bring back a sense of pride in a community, a sense of place. It helps establish the heart and the character of that community. And really, it's what people come to a small town to see. They don't want to come and see the big box stores, or if they're tourists or visitors, they can see a big box store anywhere.
My attitude is that I can't speak for a big box store, but let's say you've got a company that's come in from out of state and they're going to build a big warehouse and have a distribution center.
Right.
Why not take some of that downtown space? They're going to need an office.
Yes.
Why not talk them into, grabbing some of that downtown space for their office facility?
Right.
Which is probably only a short drive from the warehouse.
Yeah, and the production is not on Main Street. It's just, several blocks away.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great idea. A great opportunity for these businesses. I think our downtowns and our small towns are really going to see a resurgence as people are learning more and more that they can work from home and work from anywhere, and hopefully that will even bring back some of the people that have left the state of Louisiana for better job opportunities in other places. Hopefully they can come back, realize they can still keep their same jobs but work from anywhere and want to get back to Louisiana and the great things we have to offer in our state, be back close to families and work from wherever they can.
In terms of marketing themselves, do you help them get thematic as to their mix? For example, I've noticed a couple of the bigger on the tracks main streets like Ponchatoula and Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
It is nice restaurants, small but nice law offices, maybe a gallery or two.
Antique shops.
Mm-hmm. And usually a local sundry store, kind of reminder, reminiscent of the old Five and Dime.
Right.
But then you get down to say Covington. It's almost all galleries, and they're doing very, very well. So how do you get them to kind of get their marketing mojo in order?
Well, we call them transformation strategies, and we work with each of our communities to develop one or two transformation strategies, which are exactly what you're talking about. Figure out what works and will work in that community, and the way you do that is by studying the market, surrounding market analysis for the area that surrounds that downtown. Also get community input from the people in the community to find out what they would like to see in their downtown. And so from those two informative pieces of information, you can develop one or two market transformation strategies that then the Main Street organization can focus on to develop, and antiques could be one of those. And so then you work to find not only antique businesses, but also businesses that would complement antique sales and businesses that would benefit from people who might come to a town shopping for antiques. What else are they going to want to do? They're going to eat. They're going to want to maybe shop for other things too.
I don't know if it's happening in Louisiana. I know it's happening in the big cities in Europe where you get some of the big players, but they adopt the Main Street strategy. For example, I've seen these with my own eyes, so I'll talk about them. If you want to open a McDonald's or a Pizza Hut or a Kentucky Fried Chicken in one of the big cities that's got a Main Street area like Paris or Rome or Milan,
right?
You can't build your own building. You have to adapt an existing building.
Right.
Your signage has to look like everybody else's signage, and they seem to actually love it.
Yeah.
Because they're losing all that real estate cost, and they feel like it looks like they've been there 100 years, like everything else.
Yes. Every one of our Main Street communities has a local historic district commission, and that has oversight over the appropriate character of a buildings and can work with a building owner to make sure they maintain that. And the chains have those plans on the shelf and are willing to adapt.
Oh, that's good news.
If they're pushed to do it, they will adapt.
Going to take a brief pause here. We're talking with Ray Scribner. He is the head of the Louisiana Main Street Revitalization Program. And we have some more questions. We're going to hit Ray with them when we come back. This is Exiles TV.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you with us. I'm Bill, he's Kevin, and Ray Schreiber in the center. We're talking.
I keep getting it wrong too. Schreiber.
Schreiber. I got it wrong, didn't I?
I said Schreiber. It's
close enough.
You know
Ray
what?
says he's used to it. My name's Gallagher. Imagine the mangling I get.
We're the hosts. He likes whatever we call
That's
him.
right.
That's the way it works.
Ray,
You're right.
I had a question that popped into my head as we were going to commercial. What do you have any communities you could talk about that are target communities that are works in progress right now?
Well, you've mentioned Opelousas a couple of times, and Opelousas is certainly a work in progress. They're getting some momentum going right now and having a lot of good things happening in Opelousas. I also think about Homer up in North Louisiana,
yeah, beautiful
almost in Arkansas. They have a courthouse square. We were talking during the break about that a lot of our Louisiana communities are built around courthouse squares, but Homer is, and it's a beautiful courthouse square. They're really doing a lot up in Homer too, and so all of our towns are have ongoing work. It's an ongoing process.
I don't want to be negative, and I really don't want it to come off this way, but do you have communities that you and the folks who are heavily involved in this that you say we could really help them do something here, and they're just dragging their feet, they're just not interested?
Yes, all the time, and it's really a situation where it's not going to be successful if we reach out to a community and try to encourage them or recruit them into our program.
They've got to have buy-in.
They've got to have buy-in, and it's important that they have that buy-in and that they exhibit that to us. We are accepting all the time applications from new Main Street communities, but there are some that that maybe never will, just because they don't have that same community buy-in and desire to improve their downtown. So,
this is a timely question. We have a current situation where, of course, there's a feeling of trying to restore some of these historical downtown areas to their former glory, but then there's also a sensibility that some of the historical aspects of some of these towns, like, say, a monument in the courthouse square.
Right.
Do you guys have any kind of plan to address that kind of sensitivity to, we don't like what's in the courthouse square if you're going to redo it?
We don't.
Please get that out of there?
And of those kind of things, we leave that up to the community, the local community, and whatever their sense is. If they, if they feel it's important to remove it at that local community, we support them on that. So that we do leave that up to the feeling of the local community.
Let me ask you a mechanical question, and knowing we're talking theoretically here. So I'm the mayor of, say, a
Profitaville.
15,000 person town.
Yeah.
And I've got on my main street, I've got a couple buildings that are on the National Register of Historic Places. I've got a couple buildings that really are historic in nature, and they're empty, and I'd like to revitalize, so I could have 1,000 feet of uninterrupted downtown that's vital. I call you. What happens next?
Well, several different things could happen, and a good example of that is a previous mayor in DeRidder. I was in DeRidder one time visiting, and he showed me a block of buildings in their downtown that he could see potential in, and could see that one could be a great little space for an ice cream shop. And I said, Mayor, I think that's a great idea. And so one of the things that we can do is first of all, provide a rendering of what that building or a block of buildings could look like. We did that for the mayor in DeRidder, and he took that rendering around with him and was able to show the potential of these buildings to prospective tenants, to the building owners, and say, this is what this block could become. And so he was able to work himself and really recruit people to come into those buildings and open up businesses in those buildings. So there are, as I mentioned earlier, there are tax credits, historic rehabilitation tax credits that building owners can use. We provide a market analysis study that the communities can use to exhibit to potential businesses that there is a need in a whole lot of different retail and food and drink industry segments. The mayor could use that information and say, look, this study shows that this is an unmet need in our community. If you bring your business here, you can tap into some of that unmet need and have a better chance of success. We do have grants to offer to building owners to restore their buildings, as I mentioned. So we can provide some incentives and certainly work with the mayors. And
well, what I'm hearing is most of this can be done without taxes on the general population, and the business owners, if they put in the equity to get up and running, they're also going to have a tax abatement for a number of years.
They can, absolutely. So tax credits and tax abatement, which is, a lot of communities have the tax abatement so that their property taxes don't increase for a period of time. So there are a lot of incentives for opening in historic properties and in the downtown areas, and they just layer one on top of the other, and the Main Street program can help be the umbrella to help educate these potential businesses and building owners and really help them through these processes.
Let's talk for a minute about the first stages of a revitalization of, say, a 2 or 3 block downtown area in a small town, population 17, 18,000, something like that.
Right.
And most of the buildings are unoccupied. Some of them have fallen into, it kind of looks like a ghost town.
Yeah.
How important is it to just get some guys out there with some scrapers and a fresh coat of paint in order to just get the interest? Is, wow, the fresh coat of paint, this doesn't look bad. Maybe we could make something happen here.
That has huge impact because it then starts a snowball effect, exactly what you're talking about. And so that's one of the things that our annual grant program can help facilitate. Our grants are not big. They're $2,500 to $10,000. But a $2,500 grant could buy a good amount of paint and help pay to get the building painted, and the building owner would chip in a $2,500 match on that, and get a really nice project. And that happens. There's evidence that happens.
Yeah, a pretty building can attract a tenant, whereas a rundown, ramshackle building,
and
probably never.
And a pretty building can influence the next door building owner to say, okay, now my building looks even worse. He's fixed up his building. I need to do some things to my building.
Well, yeah, you do get that neighborhood effect almost immediately.
Yeah.
I used to travel the state for my job with the Louisiana Radio Network years ago, and one of my favorite places to visit, because they're dear people that own KWCL in Oak Grove, and the radio station is right there on the main street.
Right.
Little town, diagonal parking, 3 doors down, a wonderful place to go and get yourself some fried chicken.
Right.
Everything is clean. The hash marks to park your car in between is fresh paint. You can just see that the town of Oak Grove takes that, just the appearance of that downtown area, very, very seriously.
Absolutely, and I can give you another example of that. When Bastrop started in the Main Street program, they worked together. They painted the stripes, the parking stripes. They improved their sidewalks. And Bastrop is another example of a courthouse square. They had metal slip covers covering the front of all their historic buildings to try to make them back in the 50s and 60s look modern at that time.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things they did was start removing those metal slip covers to expose the historic building that still existed behind those slip covers. And as I said, they improved their sidewalks, they painted the street, the parking spaces. The courthouse is right there in the square. The police jury at the same time was making major improvements to the courthouse. This was all a community partnership effort that people really worked together, and all different people in the community worked, and it really helped. And you saw dramatic change in that downtown.
If somebody wants to get some information on getting involved and actually doing this, if they're a council member or a police juror or a mayor, just a concerned citizen or maybe a business owner on a main street, how do they get in touch with you? What's the process, and where do they go?
There is an application process. We call it the Lagniappe process, which they start with us as a Lagniappe community, where we work with them as a little something extra, and they work through that process. There's no deadline for applying, except that once they start applying, they have to finish within a certain period of time. But they can email me at mainstreet@crt.la.gov. And I will be happy to talk with them on the phone. As times allow, I will go visit in their communities and have community meetings with them to help explain the Main Street approach and to bring in additional interest from the people in the community, and help them through the process and work with them.
Is private donorship or sponsorship of this program available? I understand it's through CRT, so
right.
There is a state auspice, but
yes.
If someone just says, hey, I got a ton of money I'd like to give you guys to make your project happen, can they do that?
Absolutely. We would be happy to have that happen. We are part of the Office of the Lieutenant Governor, and there is a foundation that can accept donations and help us with that.
And they can actually become grantors.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And same thing at the local communities. If there are people who want to invest in the revitalization of a particular community, a lot of our Main Street programs are nonprofit entities in their community. About half work in city government and about half are nonprofits. So there are plenty of opportunities for donors to
Ray Scribner, that email address one more time.
Main Street, all one word, mainstreet@crt.la.gov.
Well, fascinating stuff and great for every community in Louisiana. What we'd like to do is stay in touch, and next time you land a big fish, come on by and tell us how they're doing.
Okay, West Monroe is our newest Main Street community. They just started up this year, so
wonderful.
We'll keep track on them.
I could see that there was momentum the last time I was in West Monroe, trying to clean it up and revitalize it.
I just love the kind of things that are happening in Louisiana with our old historic downtowns. Ray, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
elbows
it.
Here.
And a brief break, and then we're back with more on Exiles TV. Stick around.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hello there. Welcome back to Exiles TV.
What you wearing?
Bill over there. I'm Kevin, and got a few minutes before we go into the top of the hour. In our next hour, we're going to talk about how not to blow your fingers off.
Well, yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about businesses reopening and capacities. All of that falls under the auspices of our state fire marshal. I think a lot of people don't realize that in addition to being a public safety agency, they are also a permitting agency and an inspection agency and a police power investigative agency.
Yes, they are a regulatory agency with arresting powers.
Yes. And so State Fire Marshal Butch Browning will be with us. This morning on Channel 9, they were doing a little a feature on fireworks safety, and they were over across the river.
Yeah, I saw Carmen.
Yeah, and the guy who was doing the interview said, "Well, we'll leave you with a little, and it wasn't something that went boom. It was just a big fountain.
Yeah.
Wind kept blowing the match out.
Yep. They were trying. It's like, we're live, light the damn fuse.
It's hard to pad when you're waiting for a match to catch.
That's why you use a punk. The guy's a professional. He sells punks.
Yeah.
The wind does not blow a punk out.
But it's like, oops.
Yeah. We're live. At one point, it got a little awkward. She just kind of in mid-sentence, she just kind of stopped and went, back to you guys.
How do you feel about fireworks not being legal in a lot of places? Like East Baton Rouge Parish.
Well, first of all, let me say this. I think when you get into larger municipalities where people are packed together, sometimes the neighborhood's pretty tight. I think it might not be a bad idea to not have it be legal to pop off fireworks, because stranger things have happened than a firework comes down, lands on your roof, and sets it on fire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I saw, this was many years ago, and it was not in Baton Rouge, but in Natchez, Mississippi. I saw somebody's mishap with a firework. start a fire in their carport. Because guess what? That's where the wood pile was, and that's where the firework wound up.
Of course, it always does.
So next thing you know, the wood pile's on fire. And there were fire extinguishers, and all went well. But still, I think where you have greater concentrations of people living, I think it may be wise to leave it to the professionals.
Well, I think the animals hate them in residential areas.
Oh, yeah.
They hate them. But, you know, I was thinking about, I don't think you should be able to go and you know, inside the city limits or even in the parish limits, be able to, you know, fire these skyrockets that look like professionals, you know, 5-ball skyrockets.
Mortar shells is what you're talking about.
Yeah, because, you know, if you get a low misfire, you've got all kinds of houses and vegetation and all that right around you.
Bill, I've had an individual take a mortar shell, and you know a mortar shell has about 18 inches of fuse on it.
Oh, yeah.
The shell itself has about, well, maybe 14 inches.
Yeah, because you have to put it in the tube.
Yeah, because you got to put it in the tube, but it's still sticking out of the tube, and then you light it, and then, of course, that gives you plenty of time to get the hell away. I have actually seen someone, not knowing what it was that he had in his hand, put it down in the middle of the street, light the fuse,
oh, no,
and walk away. You know what happens with a mortar shell?
Boom.
Yeah, there's no flight, there's no up in the sky it goes, and then boom, it just goes boom. It's,
what a moron.
It's the tube that causes it to launch into the air.
Yeah, it's the barrel.
Without the tube and the pressure of the tube, the whole thing just explodes all at one time.
That's why it's called a mortar.
Yep, and it's deafening, and it throws a shrapnel about 50 feet. Yeah, I am not. My neighborhood, Shenandoah, in southeast Baton Rouge, it's like Beirut on a Saturday night on 4th of July, and it'll go on into the night. This year, the 4th is Saturday, so that means they'll also be popping them off on Sunday night as well. But when I was younger, I used to enjoy it, but you know, now it's like, you kids, shut that crap up. I want to get some sleep.
I used to enjoy the Roman candles that had like 5 or 6 balls that would only go about 15 feet, you know. If you weren't trying to be a jerk, you could make sure you didn't hit anything flammable. But when we lived in River Bend, on New Year's Eve, and we used to take turns doing New Year's Eve at different houses. We were at our house, and we were sitting down to dinner. And all of a sudden we hear this god-awful noise and yelling, and some fools, instead of actually going out and buying fireworks, decided to take the flare guns off their boat and were driving down the street.
You mean Berry pistol?
Yeah. And one of the idiots has got his finger on the trigger, and he's swinging it around, and he fires it at shoulder level, and it goes through the dining room window of our neighbor's house and sets the carpet and the curtains on fire.
Nice.
What an idiot.
Nice. Yeah, no makeshift fireworks. I think that should be a rule right there.
Well,
please, no makeshift fireworks.
When I first moved to Louisiana, there were the people who used to like to make the sparkler explosive. You've seen that, right?
Yeah, just tape a bunch of them together.
The whole big bunch. Stick it in a mailbox for extra effect.
Yeah.
What was it, 3 years ago? A bunch of teenagers got charged with a federal bomb-making statute for doing that and went to trial.
Yep.
And were found guilty.
It's illegal, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, and we're in a touchy situation. In East Baton Rouge Parish, it is illegal to set off fireworks within the city limits of the city of Baton Rouge.
And parish limits, too.
Is it entirely the parish limits?
I got a visit from a sheriff's deputy to inform me of that.
I've been visited by sheriff's deputies, and they've asked us to knock it off, and we said, "You want a beer?" And they said, "Yes." And then we told them to, Merry Christmas, and sent them on their way.
Oh no, I saw the flashlight training circles on the ground, and this big old deputy comes around to the backyard and says, "Who is the homeowner?" And every one of them pointed him. Every one of them. It was like a month after Jimmy Carter assumed the presidency. Nobody voted for him.
I just had a flash of the invasion of the body snatchers.
That was pretty much it. So, and I know you're going to do it, some of you. Just please,
careful.
Please be careful. Back with more in hour 2. Stick around.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Cox Cable is upgrading the signal from the Pelican, but to catch us, you're going to have to tune in now to a new number. Acadiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gramercy, Lutcher. Check your guide for details.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey, welcome back. It's Exiles TV. Bill Profita over there and Kevin Gallagher here. And by the way, I want to remind you real quick, you catch our program. It is on Tuesdays and Thursdays here on Pelican Broadcasting at 10 a.m. Our friend Clarence Buggs, dear friend, he's on Mondays and Wednesdays on Pelican TV. And then Bill also invites you to sometime check out our podcast, which is on Facebook Live. And we do that on Wednesday mornings and Friday mornings right at around 8 a.m. So it's a little coffee talk.
It's the Morning Exiles.
Yep.
But we use it for Exiles TV as well, to communicate with you. Mm-hmm. Can you do us a big favor? Somebody the other day pointed out that our good buddy Franz, and Franz is feeling much better, thank you.
Franz actually came down with COVID-19.
Yeah, our good buddy has more followers on his Go Rouge podcast.
So are they trying to make you jealous or what?
Well, I think it's because you and I have never said, hey, would you throw us a follow? Would you throw us a follow?
So, okay, would you do that? Would you go to Facebook, search The Morning Exiles, and would you throw the page a like and a follow? Would you do that?
Yeah, we'd appreciate it.
We share these programs. What I do is Pelican Broadcasting puts them up on their YouTube page, and then I share them from the Pelican Broadcasting YouTube page, links to The Morning Exiles on Facebook. So we would appreciate it. And it's also a great way to real quickly access the program and watch it on demand.
So, speaking of 4th of July, and we might have some more 4th of July topics in a minute, and I don't mean to be negative, but this is the lamest thing I have ever seen. The fireworks on the levee here in Baton Rouge, and I'm sure fireworks in Lafayette and Jefferson Parish and New Orleans and up and down the river, the big public displays,
ain't gonna happen,
have all been canceled because of COVID. And I don't think that's any big surprise. But WBRZ has been promoting that they're going to broadcast 4th of July fireworks in a TV special from previous years. Show of hands, how many think that that's just terrible? terribly, terribly lame. I know.
I actually came close to making a very rude hand gesture.
I mean, I know you mean well. I know you mean well, but that's just lame.
Well, and they do mean well because, you know, I think, well, it's better than not seeing any fireworks at all. But good God, the thing about fireworks is not it's not the spectacle. It's not just the lights and the pretty showers of sparks. It's the percussive boom when they go
in there.
You can feel it in your chest when that thing goes off, man.
And there's only 2 fireworks displays that I want to see on television. The Sydney Opera House skyline in Australia and behind the Statue of Liberty. Those I can watch on television over and over and over again.
Are we about to take a call?
HB?
Yeah, let's talk to HB.
Hey,
Hi,
HB, how are
in
you?
Denham Springs. How are you, my friend?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Quite well, sir.
What's
Long
up?
time.
I just wanted to share some information for you that you might find real interesting.
Love it.
Lay it on me.
Last night, Hannity's show had over a 20-minute uninterrupted interview with the father of a 19-year-old boy that was killed in Seattle, Washington, in the zone area that they took over with the police precinct.
Okay.
It's the most dramatic interview I've ever seen in my entire life of watching television or anything else. It might, if you have time and you have the way to do it, you might watch that interview because it would be well worth your time.
All right. I
Thanks for the
will make sure
recommendation.
I direct somebody to a television program other than ours on your say-so. HB, have a happy 4th of July.
Yeah. That thought was not wasted on me either. It's like,
And
okay, so
what has that to do with
quick
fireworks?
commercial for Hannity's TV show.
Yeah, and
HB, I'm going to trust you to call in to Sean and drop.
Yeah, and tell him that
Drop a
they
tip
should
on the
watch
Exiles,
The
okay?
Exiles and talk about fireworks.
No, he's right. I mean, sure, he trolled the topic a little bit, but
Send me a text.
terrible things going on in Chop or Chaz or whatever the hell they're calling it in Seattle, and a lot of people are turning a blind eye to it.
The best video of the day, though, is that cop in Miami's airport losing it and right hooking that woman. Now,
I don't think I've seen it.
She was very upset, and there's 2 cops, and they're talking to her, and she gets right up in one cop's face. And now I said, if this were in a comedy movie, it would be funny. But she gets up and she says, "What you gonna do?" And that right hook comes up and just clocks her right on the jaw.
But that's police brutality.
Well, it damn sure was, because you don't hit somebody in the jaw just because they're talking loud to your face when you're a police officer.
Sorry, you don't have that liberty.
No. And now, the guy was a big guy, but he either punches like a sissy or she's used to this.
She came right back up.
Well, she staggered back 3 steps, and then she was upright again, and then they put her down on the ground properly and handcuffed her.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And he's screaming, "She headbutted me." And you can tell the other officers are like, "No, you're going to get us all in trouble." And she didn't headbutt you.
You bring up something I think I want to talk about in the next segment. Let's talk about some of those viral videos that are going around. And awfully violent, awfully hard to watch, some of them. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with that on Exiles TV. Coming right up. Stay there.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to Exiles TV, just substituting for Sean Hannity today.
Say, Bill.
I can't tell you how much that burns my butt. Somebody calling our TV show to promote another TV show. Have you no decency?
He's watching our TV show, so I'm happy with that.
Have you no shame?
Thank you for watching our TV show. We appreciate it.
Don't ever do that again.
Have you seen many of these viral videos that are going around being shared? There's apparently a lot of video being shot by Americans out there depicting horrendous acts Americans are committing on other Americans. And sometimes I think it's news footage that's just not making the news. And sometimes it's just, that everybody's got one of these.
Yeah, there's a lot of camera phone footage. Sometimes it's building security footage. I was thinking, have I seen some of that? I saw one this morning in suburban New York. This guy walks up to a woman who's looking out over a balcony. It looks like one of these nice parks type of thing, and there's a building behind it, a pavilion.
Punches her in the head.
No, he chokes her out and takes her purse and then walks away like nothing happened.
Oh, I see. The knockout game is back too. But what I've noticed here is and I'm just going to speak plainly, guys. It's mostly what we're seeing, mostly younger black men and old white women. That's what we're seeing with the knockout game more recently. They're walking up to older white women and punching them in the head. That's horrendous. And it's, forget race, forget skin color. Who the hell ever, what upbringing did any of these young men have to make them think that there was anything okay about walking up, punching a woman, especially an elderly woman, in the head?
Well, it's usually a sucker punch.
Yep. Oh,
they're not.
Never see
they're
it
not facing you.
Never see it coming. Another piece of video that upset me the other day was a woman that was tied it up in a parking lot, and it was a door bump. Two cars parked next to one another. Woman opens the door, bumps the car next to her. The 5 people in that vehicle, one of which was a child of about 9, come out of that vehicle and pull that woman out of hers and start raining blows down on this woman. Okay? So we're seeing a lot of hatred. We're seeing a lot of race-based hatred. But
we're seeing a lot of no impulse control.
Yes.
And that goes back, that didn't start with George Floyd, by the way. That goes back 25 or 30 years. No impulse control. That was just what I was reaching
for. And I'm sorry, what was done to George Floyd, I don't think anybody in America would disagree that what was done to George Floyd was a crime. And it's
serious
tragedy.
crime.
I don't care about the content of George Floyd's character. He did not deserve to die in such a manner, period. So I think the whole country was behind the, bad job Minneapolis police on George Floyd. But what's being done is retaliation for that, and for Rayshard Brooks is that innocent people are being targeted because they're white. And this has got to stop. And the only way it's going to stop is if leaders, among the African American community tell their people, stop it. Or if enough of these guys, it's mostly guys, but it's also, the video I saw was mostly, it was 4 grown black women, 2 teenage black women, and a black boy of about 10. And they were all just punching and kicking on this woman at the same time. She stood up. She fought. She tried to defend herself, but she wound up, just when she saw an opportunity to get in that vehicle, lock the doors, and get the hell out of there, she did.
Well, let me tell you something that I have noticed, and it's not just in the last month. I have noticed this for the last 10 or 15 years, that if someone is offended or triggered by an incident which is heinous, like George Floyd, there are certain people that take that as a complete amnesty on their behaviors. And their reaction is a complete loss of civility. Now, the problem with that is the point that was originally there, which was valid, gets completely drowned out, because even people of good faith go, see?
I'm going to say something pretty strong here. We hear a lot of talk about systemic racism, but what we don't hear about is how some people are part of the system. Some people who claim to be or feel like they're victims of racism are part of the system of the systemic racism. In other words, if you act without any civility, it's going to make people angry. And they may not have any hatred in their heart for you, but they may have disdain for your actions. And I think that a lot of people would consider disdain for your actions as part of that systemic racism that we hear so much about. Am I going off on a bad tangent here?
No, but I think you point to something. It's like
don't behave badly and people won't think badly of you.
This thing in Miami, we're hearing this. Cops are under attack. Cops are under attack. I don't believe that. I believe that really, really bad cops, which is a really, really small minority, are being heavily scrutinized, okay? But this Miami police officer, who was at least 2 feet taller than this woman, and she was yelling and getting up in his face. He didn't walk away. He didn't say, put up a hand and say, calm down, calm down. The minute she said, what you gonna do, he threw a right hook to the jaw, which, by the way, is a move no police officer should make unless the person that they're doing battle with is also throwing punches.
Well,
they're supposed to be able to subdue somebody without punching them.
Exactly. I don't think that pugilism is what is taught at the police academy.
But, this cop is working from his own mentality of, we're under attack. And the people that are yelling and screaming may be saying, I'm getting this out of my system because of what happened. And I have a right to do this. And you know what happens here? She got arrested.
By the way, I've got this up on my screen.
He's going to get suspended. He may get fired. You have to keep a cool head. And by the way, you have to police properly. You can't sit there and say, oh, we'll just sit on this for 5 or 6 days and maybe nothing bad will happen. How's that working for you, Seattle? You got to go out there and do your thing and do it properly.
Oh, hell no.
She never touches him.
No, she was up in his face.
She was yelling.
I didn't see anything that was an actual physical threat.
Never laid a finger on him.
She was certainly up in his face, but she never
He threw a right hook.
Yeah. Wow. I wish I could put this up on the screen for you all.
And you know what? If she had said something that rose to assault on a police officer, he could have just as easily grabbed her wrist, spun her around, and said, put your hands behind your back. He threw a haymaker at this woman.
Yeah, that was a solid right cross, and she took it like a champ, by the way.
First of all, did his daddy never tell him you don't hit girls?
That's sexist, but I think it's a sexist thing that most women are still okay with.
And most men are too.
Yeah, most men are raised that way. I would never raise my hand to a female, ever. I mean, maybe if struck and I had to defend myself.
If she had a weapon, or yeah. But I mean, this woman was just yelling at him. Now, she was upset because she missed his flight, which he had nothing to do with. But he and his partner were saying, can you please, tone it down? And she...
Oh, no, that guy. No, I'm sorry. I just watched it again. That guy.
No, he's wrong.
He needs discipline. That ain't no.
He's wrong.
That ain't right.
And again, that adds to this. We're under attack. We don't support our cops. People think they can do whatever they want to do to cops. That's the whole problem we're facing now. We've gone beyond the original argument.
Plus, I think we're also facing a problem with some cops. I think and I don't know if it's rookies and they haven't been brought up right, or if it's guys that have been law enforced long enough to grow a sense of entitlement. But there's you don't get to talk to me like that. It's well, it's just talk. And a cop should be, a cop should be well trained in the art of sticks and stones.
Oh.
I've seen some wonderful cops just stand there like guards at Buckingham Palace. Well, people were spitting in their face, calling them terrible things, but no physical threat was made, and they maintained their composure.
Yeah. Ma'am, I know you're upset.
Wow.
But we don't work for the airlines. We're just trying to help you here, man.
There are days, Bill, where I retreat from social media just so I don't see this kind of stuff. I just retreat. Going to take another quick break. We have the State Fire Marshal scheduled to join us later in the program, and we're going to talk about reopening rules. We're going to talk about fireworks safety. We're going to talk about a lot of things with State Fire Marshal Butch Browning as we return in just minutes. Exiles TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Butch Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Butch Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hey, welcome back. It's Exiles TV here on Pelican Broadcasting. Glad to have you with us. By the way, tonight at 10 o'clock, if you missed any portion of the show, you missed a great discussion of the Main Street Project, which is not to be confused with the Main Street Grant Program for businesses affected by COVID-19. This is an actual program it's under the auspice of the Lieutenant Governor's office, and it's to help revitalize some of these wonderful main streets in some of our great communities here in Louisiana.
Preserve our historic buildings,
right, and
provide economic development.
You know, some of these towns are all but dead because everything on their main drag has closed up.
We got suburbia-itis. We liked everything that was outside of town.
Mm-hmm.
We like to go eat there. We like to go shop there.
So if you missed that discussion with Ray Scribner, who is the head, you can find it later tonight, 10 o'clock, right here on this channel, or later this afternoon. Jonathan will have it uploaded to YouTube, and you simply go to the Pelican Broadcasting page on YouTube or visit our Facebook page, and you'll catch a quick link for on-demand viewing.
You know, you're talking about the stuff that we see now with everybody has a camera. Do you wonder about all the things that you don't see?
You mean all that cell phone footage that nobody circulated, you mean?
Or that they can't get it out of the holster quick enough.
I see out of the holster quick enough. Sometimes I'm amazed at cell phone video because you were there kind of ready for that to happen, weren't you?
But you know what? A lot of women going into the store, they got it in their hand. So they are kind of ready.
I'm bad about it because, you know, I've got mine usually in my hand or in my pocket, and yet I'm just terrible about thinking about, roll that camera. You know, I do not generally, when there's anything of an event going on, I don't generally whip out the phone and start recording. I just don't do it. And you'd think, you know, if it were newsworthy, being a former reporter, that I would have better instincts than that.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking of the, it's what I call entitled rudeness. And this knows no gender, no age, no race. It has become quite universal. Walmart. Everybody shops at Walmart eventually, right?
I'm shopping at Walmart right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a Connie Bernard as we do this.
Are you really? Let's call Gary Chambers in to yell at you. Vociferously, but from a safe distance. How do you feel about Cleveland?
I'm doing my best to support the Chinese economy at Walmart.com.
So I'm in Walmart, and there are two side-by-side parking spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull into one, and it looked like a Shriners convention next to me. This lady had more kids than the little old woman in the shoe. There must have been 19 of them.
Well, it's like a clown car?
Yeah, and you know, and it was a small car. It was like a Nissan Sentra. And she rolls into the parking space, and she ain't anywhere near close to being in the center. And she is real close. So close that she can't open her door to get her rather ample frame out. So she backs it up.
Okay, I'm with you.
Backs it up and gets it a little more centered. Well, by this time, I am out of my car and I'm walking around the back, and her kids are spilling out like Shriners, at a parade. And she looks at me and she starts screaming, "Don't you dare tell me how to park my car. I got all these kids, and you're not going to disrespect me in front of them." And she went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And I stopped. And I turned, and I gave her my patented, "Is this a good day to die" look. You've seen the look, right?
Yes, I've seen that look.
I said, "I didn't say a word to you, lady, but I sure can now if you'd like me to." Silence.
Yep.
Thank you very much. But rudeness is going to cause more of an uptick in assaults and altercations and pushing and shoving matches. And we're going to go to Fred Thompson. We're going to go to, this is going to get out of control.
Wow.
And we will be lucky if we live through it.
You're quoting that movie, and I just watched it yesterday afternoon.
Isn't that a great movie?
Hunt for Red October. Former Senator Fred Thompson was also an actor. Great line. This thing is going to get out of control. To get out of control, and we'll be lucky to live through it.
I don't understand the rudeness reaction to crisis. When you're in crisis, all right, let's just say, God forbid, but you walk out to the parking lot and I'm 10 steps behind you and I hear you yell, grab the left side of your chest and come to the ground and you say, "I think I'm having a heart attack." And I'm saying, like, "Okay, I'll call 911. EMS is on this street." You're under a lot of stress. Are you going to be a jackass to these people?
Sure.
They're going to roll you over to Our Lady of the Lake.
That's your license, Here's the unspoken words and sometimes it's spoken, that we encounter a lot in society. But you have to understand.
No, I don't.
It's like, I'm upset and you have to understand. It's like, no, sorry. I don't really have to understand
I have to understand anything. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Our next guest, State Fire Marshal Butch Browning, in the truck. We're going to take this break a little early so we can spend a little more time with Butch.
You guys in the truck, what we're trying to do is tell you where
all right,
we're going to go a break early.
What do you think? You think the girls are gone? They're paying attention? Okay, you've got that affirmative on your headset? All right, in 3, 2, 1, break.
Be back.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. In the center is a fellow that we know very, very well. And we used to have him on our radio show an awful lot. But he has been quite busy these last 15 weeks. State Fire Marshal Butch Browning. They have thrown a lot over to you during the COVID crisis, Butch.
Sure. And I'm going to tell you, we've been a proud partner in this. I mean, you know, what's been given to us is a big responsibility. You know, many states, when they went to open up, there was a proclamation, there was an ordinance, there was a law that said, here's what you do. Well, we saw very quickly that if we wanted to be an advocate for business, number one, for safety, but number two, to get them back in commerce where they're making money, we needed to put together a good set of guidelines that were understandable and useful. So the governor allowed us to start opensafely.la.gov, which is basically a set of guidelines and practical things. I call it a toolbox, if you will, for business people to be able to make things work. You know, they talked about fire marshal capacity. A lot of businesses don't know what their capacity is.
Well, that's the whole thing. There's a science.
They have no idea. They don't know. So if you look at what we did, we created a practical means for that business owner to measure their area. We gave them the simple mathematical formula, and they know their capacity. You know, instead of it being an impediment and say, well, we got to call the fire marshal to come out and inspect our building, that wasn't good in commerce. So we created a lot of common sense things and gave them the guidance based on what the CDC and the White House and, of course, our state Department of Health, all the things they came up with, and we put it into a practical format. And we worked with them. If they need us, they called us. We didn't want to get in their way. And I think it's been very successful. And in fact, a lot of businesses have exceeded some of the mitigation measures. So you're right. It's been a crazy role. But I think it was our wheelhouse because we work with businesses every day. You know, I mean, the way we, I guess, are the caretaker of the fire codes in this state, I think we do it in a very fair and amicable manner. You know, we don't use our enforcement authority loosely. I mean, we work with people. We have conversations. We sit down with people. We build consensus. And that's always been our mode on how you gain safety. And safety is everybody's responsibility.
Butch, roughly, help me out with terminology. Would you call your staff, your agents, are they deputy marshals? Is that what you call them?
Correct.
How many do you have? I mean, you've got to cover the whole state as far as trying to assure compliance with the governor's mandates. How do you get that done?
Yeah, so we have about 120 commissioned deputies that move about the state and do the work of the fire marshal's office. And, but we've worked with a lot of local authorities. We've worked with a lot of local fire prevention bureaus. So we've tried to build as much synergy and partnership as we can. And it's really worked pretty well. We haven't had any major problems. Nobody likes the situation we're in. Everybody wishes it would go away. But we got to stick together, and we've got to build the team to get us through this. And so that's really what we're doing.
What I think is so good about what it is you have done with this, and I've heard this from business owners, if they didn't know what their capacity was, they could call. They got a very quick response. Somebody came out, measured it out, walked it up, and gave them a number. There's no haggling. There's no if you do this, if you do that. You actually rely on the science. And so they have something they can hold on to. They're sure about what they've got.
Sure. And again, I think it's worked. We've tried to be accessible on the phone. People call us, we give them answers, and of course, we're in phase 2 right now. You all know our numbers are not good right now. I mean, many states around the country are pulling back. We're not pulling back right now. I mean, the governor's standing strong, but he's telling us, as a fire marshal's office, you've got to go out there and do a 100% perfection in your job to help stop this spread, and that's the role we're in right now. So we have a lot of people working through the holiday, going out, making more courtesy visits, making sure we have understanding, making sure people understand the rules. I think that's important. There's a lot of good businesses out there that need our help, and also expect us to make sure everybody else is playing by the same playbook, if you will.
Butch, we have said several times on this program, because our first show was the first business day of lockdown. It just happened that way. And we have said that we think that most of our state has been very compliant, that we did a pretty good job of flattening the curve on the front end. We got this uptick now. But what I'm asking is the number of actual hard complaints that have some fact to them that you all are getting. Is it about average with other state fire marshals around the country, or is it a little lower or a little higher?
Well, so that's a great question. I don't really know the answer to that, but I'll tell you this. In phase 1 versus phase 2, we've had 3 to 4 times the number of complaints in phase 2 than we had in phase 1. And so, but I think I figured this out. Look, I've been telling people, when this is all over with, I'm going to be able to challenge the test to be an epidemiologist and pass it, because I've learned so much about pandemics. I mean, you give me a fire, you give me an arson, we know how to go do that. But this is some major stuff that we're learning. But here's the thing. I think this massive education campaign, and certainly the little job we did with Open Safely, but just in general, I mean, public officials, businesses, organizations, they've all created mitigation plans. I think this massive public education campaign has changed people's behaviors from phase 1 to phase 2, because now we understand the importance of washing our hands. We understand the importance of the mitigation measures. Social distancing. If they'd have asked us a year ago what's the definition of social distancing, we'd be like,
that's a new phrase.
Never heard of it.
People would have said staying off Facebook.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a brand new phrase.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's amazing, all these norms that are becoming. So now that you know that, I think people are going into businesses and they're seeing things that they're thinking, wait a minute, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's social distancing, or I don't think that person is wearing their mask right. So the concerns and the calls or complaints, however you want to classify it, that we're getting is because I think there's more of an awareness. Now, but I got to say this about the awareness. I've noticed in businesses that I've gone into, the way they operated in the beginning and the way they operate now may not be as strict. I mean, there were some businesses that I went into that an employee was following me with the wipes, and every touch point that I touched, they're cleaning, which is a very strict mitigation measure. And now
it's also showing off a little bit.
Yeah, but now there may be some lackadaisical on this. I could, even on my own part, I mean, I got to remind myself to wash my hands more, and I was doing it a lot more in the beginning. So it's a behavior. This whole thing is about a personal behavior. I mean, it's not about regulating businesses or regulating commerce. it's about making sure that we all have the behaviors that we need, because I could spread the virus at my own personal home if I don't do things right. And I think that's important.
We've asked all the public service agencies that have been on with us, EMS and police departments and all that, if they have been affected, because you are all out face to face with the public. How is the State Fire Marshal's Office done? Have you had anybody go down and out for a while? How are they?
Yes, we've had a number of deputies who have tested positive, and of course we have a system in place where they, obviously are go through treatment, and anybody associated with them self-quarantine. So we've had a notable number of deputies from time to time. Probably right now we have about maybe 5 folks that are two of which are positive, and others who are quarantined. We've operated, of course, most of our work is field work, but in the offices we've tried not to congregate people. So if I was to get it, it may only affect 1 or 2 people that I interact with, not everybody in the office, which has been the hardest thing about my job, because I put 40,000 miles a year on a car driving the state. I've literally left Baton Rouge 3 times since March.
Wow.
And just for a day to come right back, I miss being around people, because again, I think when you build relationships, when you can look people in the eye and you can talk to them, you can meet with them, and this Zoom thing is just, it's easy. You could do something in Shreveport.
It ain't the same.
You can do a TV thing in Shreveport in 10 minutes. It'd take you a whole day, but it's not the same. And I miss that personal thing. That's probably been the hardest thing for me.
Butch, I'd like to ask you about your powers in this thing. I was a little surprised in phase 2 when the governor allowed bars to open, and even at reduced capacity. It's just not in the nature of going to a bar that you're going to be standing 6 feet from the person next to you. People are going to gather in usually in tight groups,
tight little knots of people talking,
and they're not going to be practicing social distancing. So maybe they're wearing masks. But what are your powers if you or one of your deputies, finds a business, a bar or a restaurant or any kind of a business, and where just what's required ain't happening?
Right. So first off, those bars have to operate under the same guidance as the restaurant, where people are supposed to be seated. They're not supposed to be dancing. You can't have live entertainment inside. So they have to be seated.
Seen a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's we've now got to start being a little more proactive in going out and educating those people. So, I got to make this clear. It's my personal passion. I believe you talk to people, and I believe you solve problems by talking. But from an enforcement standpoint, any violation of that governor's proclamation is a misdemeanor, and you could be cited thereof. In addition to that, if a state agency like the Fire Marshal's Office would rule that this business is not doing things right, and we think it needs to be cease and desist what you're doing, maybe it's having a live band, maybe not the whole building. But if we order a cease and desist, it puts in jeopardy any state licenses those businesses have. So whether you have an alcohol license from ATC, whether you have a restaurant license from LDH, maybe you're a daycare and your daycare license comes from the Department of Education. So it puts in jeopardy those licenses. We have never to this point, because if that happens, I'm going to be involved in the conversation with that business owner, because I want that business owner to know that we believe what they're doing is wrong, and it's risen to my level as a state fire marshal, and how can we fix this? Because, again, writing citations and pulling permits, that's an easy thing to do.
But you do have that leeway
absolutely.
in decision.
Right.
Am I just going to talk to this guy, work it out?
That's exactly what we're going to do.
Warning and look for compliance.
That's exactly what we want to do, because, listen, and in most cases, the businesses that we've noticed problems in, when we brought it to the attention of the owner, they didn't realize the employees might have been doing that. They really didn't. So we give them opportunity to fix it. And again, I think if you polled the motoring citizen across the state today, they're going to have a lot more knowledge about the mitigation measures than they did 3 months ago. So our education campaign, and everybody's education campaign, I think has been very successful.
Well, I was thinking of you at the very, very beginning of this, where they had that one pastor up in Central that was challenging the governor's
Pastor
order.
Spell.
Yeah, and he was doing it very vociferously. And I said, sooner or later, they're going to have to call somebody in and read him his capacities and basically lock him up. Now, he got arrested for something else. But What does that do to the morale of your people when you got this guy and he does it not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times, 5 times? He basically gives you all the, I don't need to listen to you.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good example because the other piece to this enforcement authority is, any law enforcement agency has that power to give those misdemeanor summonses for violations. So in that case, it was Central Police that took it on and did the right thing and worked with them as well. Again, that's why the Fire Marshal's office is the right office to do enforcement, because our people are really humble. I mean, they don't have a chip on their shoulder. They're not out there trying to, close businesses down. I mean, we say all the time, we're about safety and economic development. Safety is always first. And second, right close second, is getting businesses open. And we find ways to modify the fire code, trade-offs in the fire code every day to make sure business is open. So we have a spirit of cooperation, so our people really don't get frustrated to anything notable. And again, we also realize this is new territory, and we're writing the playbook on this. There was no code book for us to pull off the shelf and say 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really been strange. I never thought I would face this in my career.
Has this pandemic affected another problem? We've spoken to you on. We have a problem with arsons in this state. Have you noticed any difference in the rates of arson? Mm-hmm.
We've had a little uptick in fires.
An uptick. I was hoping maybe it would slow it down.
No, we've had an uptick, some of which are accidental, and a lot of that, if you think about the stay-home order, people are home more.
Oh, yeah.
So there's more opportunity. So there were accidentals. We have had some fraud fires. Mm-hmm. We've had some fires dealing with crimes and maybe some burglaries, maybe more domestic kind of things. Nothing major, but there is kind of an uptick. And of course we've been dealing with it, but we're not doing our normal maintenance inspections in the Fire Marshal's office, which is probably about 65 or 70% of what we do, on the schedule.
For now.
Yeah, so because we're not doing that, we're able to respond to COVID. We're able to put more resources on our criminal investigations. So right now which is the value of us. Our people are cross-trained. We can move them to the problem. And I think that's what makes us a value in a lot of this.
All right.
We're talking with our state fire marshal, Butch Browning, under the mask.
We'll be back after this. It's 4th of July weekend. I know Butch is familiar with this topic. We're going to talk about the dangers of fireworks with our state fire marshal.
Don't blow your fingers off.
Stick around.
Coming up next.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Cox Cable is upgrading the signal from the Pelican, but to catch us, you're going to have to tune in now to a new number. Acadiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gramercy, Lutcher. Check your guide for details.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Buggs Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show. Tell you what. Oh, wait, gotta run. Gotta go. Bye.
Welcome back to Exiles TV, our final moments with Chief Fire Marshal for the state, Butch Browning. And I know every year you get asked about this. The dangers of fireworks at home. They are legal all around East Baton Rouge Parish. They're not legal here. I don't know if they're legal in Lafayette or if they're legal in Orleans or Jefferson parishes, but what do you have to say to folks? Because you know some of them are going to mess with them anyway.
Yeah, well, I think first and foremost, make sure where you're going to use them, they're allowed in that community. In most areas of the state, they are allowed. Bigger cities, they're not. So make sure of that for sure. You know, the retail stores are allowed to be open in phase 2, and they're in hopes that people will be at home and do things at home. So we hope that if you go buy these fireworks, you don't have large gatherings at your home in the threat of COVID. But all that being said, you follow the recommendations, and it's real simple. Number one, first and foremost, if you're consuming alcohol, you don't need to be the lighter.
No.
I'm looking at people here when I say that, okay? You don't need to be the lighter. Number two is you need an area, a flat area, a concrete area, away from buildings, away from cars, away from shrubs and rubbish, that you place that firework and you light it and you move away. None of them are designed to be handled with your hand. They're designed to be put on a flat base, lit, and you move away quickly. Don't let children light fireworks. Have a bucket of water or a water hose to where if you see embers fall, you can extinguish them. One of the best rule of thumbs is that you light one, you let it do its show, and when it's finished, then you light the other one. Don't set multiple ones off. But it's basic rules. If you get burned, you want to wash that area with tap water and present yourself to an emergency room. If it's that significant, you may have to call 911.
Real quick, Butch, because we're down to a minute and a half. Are there any fireworks that you can buy at a store that are just too dangerous for non-professionals?
No, we regulate them very, very well. They can only sell things the state allows. So you want to make sure you buy from a stand that's been permitted by us. They're not sold out of trunks of cars. They're not sold in back alleys. They're prominent places with a sign and a permit from the fire marshal's office.
And don't do the things we all used to try to do when we were teenagers, where you take the bottle rockets or the little Roman candles and point them at each other.
I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, I did. And I got a pretty good scar to show for it, too.
Yeah, look, those things, they touch you, it's going to burn you significantly.
Well, you know what it is we're both from up north where fireworks are just not legal, period.
Yeah.
Right.
So when we come south, we just go nuts.
Like a kid in a cookie jar.
There
Exactly.
you go.
We just go nuts.
State Fire Marshal Butch Browning, it's always good to see you when this is all over. I know we're going to have you back to talk about the wrap-up of everything you and your deputies did during COVID, and this will be over. And I want to talk about how we prepare for the next one, because there always will be a next one. But we thank you for what you and your deputies do, and we want to make sure we gave you some airtime. For the rest of you, we will be back on Tuesday for Exiles TV. And on Tuesday, if you are a business owner and you are tired of getting raked over the coals on processing plastic, we've got a gentleman that may have something that you are going to be interested in. And don't forget to join us tomorrow for the Morning Exiles podcast. Until next time, have a good day.
And happy birthday, America. God bless.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.